There is this moment in homeschooling where everything clicks. And not because you fixed everything, but because you stopped trying to reinvent it. Early on in our homeschooling journey, I felt lost. And I think many of us have that same exact feeling. We don't know exactly what we're doing, but we know we want to do it. And we're just trusting that everything is going to work out in the end. I had no friends or family that homeschooled, so I was kind of left on my own. I had some YouTube videos, but back when I started homeschooling, there wasn't that many homeschooling YouTubers. There was only a handful of the ones that you see now. It was not popular. It was over 10 years ago, and I just remember feeling very alone. I had no blueprint, and all I was using was a big box curriculum because somebody on the internet said, hey, if you don't know what you're doing, try a big box curriculum because there will be a whole lot of things in there that you're going to need anyway. I listened to that advice, and it was probably the best advice for me at that time. So we started out using My Father's World, which coincidentally, My Father's World, the company, was just down the street from me in Missouri. So I felt like I was kind of supporting somebody local too, which was kind of cool. Basically, we were just winging it. And that's really the best term that I can use for what we were doing. We were winging it. But somehow the Lord made it all work out in the end. But here's one thing that changed everything. And that was me learning and studying my kids. The real shift didn't happen with curriculum. It happened when I started learning my children. Each child processes information differently, and your child is going to lean in one direction typically with learning styles. I highly recommend studying your children and the way that they learn best. Now, this is going to take time. You're not going to figure this out right away unless you've been trying to do this already, or if you just know your kids really, really well and the way that they learn. But the best thing that you can do is study your kids and figure out the way that they learn and process information the best. Some kids are going to lean more kinesthetic. Some kids are going to lean more audio. Some kids are going to lean more visual. And some kids are not going to fit in any box really, and they might be a blend of different learning styles. But once you figure this out, you can take that information and figure out curriculum based around that. I have 2 kids that learn in 2 completely different ways, and they are 4 school years apart. So for me, the best thing that I could do for them was to, almost for every subject, to teach 2 completely different curriculum, which was, I'm gonna admit, it's a little difficult, but it was the best thing for my children and for the way that they learn, and I think we had a better school experience because of it. I wasn't always kicking against the goads with one child. After a few years of tweaking, we finally landed on what worked for us and for our children individually and for us as a family. But again, this is not going to be an overnight thing. So we figured out that Generations works really well as a spine for both of my kids. So that's history and Bible and character building and then some electives. They were older, so they didn't have a lot of the stuff that the Generations has in the younger grades. But that's okay, we made it work. We figured out that math teaching textbooks works really great with both of our kids and their learning styles. We figured out IEW works really great for both kids and learning styles. But I had one child that leans more Charlotte Mason, and I had one that kind of leans more in a traditional school type of setting. And you know, we made tweaks within those types of environments for both of our kids. The clicking isn't about curriculum. It's about confidence, and that only comes with time. So if you are in your first couple years of homeschooling and things are not clicking for you yet, just wait. Eventually, you will go from just trying to get through the day to coasting. So curriculum will eventually go on autopilot is what I have found, and that's where we are. I am at this level where I'm just coasting. And once the pieces are in place, curriculum stops becoming an emotional type of thing and you're just confident, like, okay, I know this works for this, and I know this works for this, and I know this works for this. You're not redeciding every single year what you're gonna buy. You just move down the line. Okay, they recommend this one for this grade and this for this grade, and then you just kind of go on autopilot and just buy the next thing down the line. And you do that until it doesn't work, or until you see something and you're like, maybe, maybe not, and then you make some tweaks. It takes so much less mental energy, and it's so much less stressful at the end of the day. And there's a lot less late night Google searches and chasing curriculum trends. And, it's just so much easier once you get to that autopilot zone. But it takes time. Again, it's going to take time to get there, because you might have to do some trial and error to figure out where that coasting is going to land for you. Autopilot doesn't mean careless. It means practiced. It means confidence. And then there is an unexpected bonus here too. Something else happens when you stay the course long enough. People stop questioning you. And that's one of my favorite things. Once you get to this like coasting area, people really stop questioning you. Your friends and your family who are very unfamiliar with homeschooling, they stop trying to quiz your kids. They just are like, oh, there they are again. It doesn't faze people the way that it used to the first couple of years. Your family settles with the decision. Your friends kind of move on from it. You start making new homeschool friends, whether if it's in person or online or with your church or co-ops. You kind of just settle. At some point, homeschooling just becomes normal life. And you might be known as the homeschool family, you might not, but it does become part of your normal daily life, and it becomes normal to the people around you, and they kind of settle around the idea that this family homeschools. So if you feel like you're in the thick of it right now, especially if you are new to homeschooling, just give it time. I think it took about 3 years or so for the dust to kind of settle for the family members around us. I was raised by the boomer generation. So my parents and grandparents, they really did not understand homeschooling. And I did get a lot of pushback and a lot of questions. And there were a lot of fears around homeschooling because they had heard so many things that were untrue. And they believed things that were not true. And it was one of those things that I kind of just showed them rather than telling them. And I think for me, it was just so much shock because I was a teacher and nobody had a problem with me teaching in the school system. And everybody was so proud of me for teaching in the school system, but it kind of crushed me and crushed my confidence when everybody really questioned my ability to school my own 2 children. So for me, I really had to get over that. I had to let go of that. I had to kind of let go of that fear. And then eventually the dust settled and they were seeing how our kids were thriving. And that's what really did it for everybody around them. Hopefully, you won't get too much pushback because homeschooling is growing. It is one of those things that is growing rapidly, and I love to see it. I do, just as a former educator, as somebody who knows how bad the schools are, I just love to see all these parents taking control and educating their kids, and all of these Christian moms and dads getting in there, getting their hands dirty and saying, we're going to do this work. The Lord has called us to this. I love that. I absolutely love it. So give it time. And one thing that I will say too before I go, don't fix what's not broken. If you see something that is working with your kids, leave it alone. For us, it's math. We started out, both the kids, around grades 3 with teaching textbooks. Both of them have said since elementary school, do not touch math. Whatever you do, do not touch math. We'll try anything once, but do not take away our math. I did not touch math. So if something is working, don't tweak it. Even if you dislike it, if your kids like it, it might be worth it just to keep it. But also remember, it is okay to try new things every now and then to mix things up. We like to throw in a campfire curriculum unit, and that keeps things lively and fun. I think I'm going to add one at the end of the year this year when one of our other curriculums ends. I think we're going to end it a little bit earlier than I thought. So I think I'm going to have time for a campfire unit. Curiosity doesn't mean you're failing if you want to try something. So throw in something if you want to make it more fun. Confidence will give you freedom, not fear. So if you are still in trial and error mode, it doesn't mean that you're behind or that you're doing anything wrong. You're doing the right thing. It just takes time. You're still building that muscle, that confidence muscle. So take a deep breath, keep going, keep steady. You got this. And I am in your corner. Let me know down below, what are you doing with trial and error? Do you know how your kids learn? Where are you at with all this? I would love to hear you tell me below in the comment section. I will see you guys next time. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I love you all so much. Bye, guys.